Welcome to another episode of the Podcast of Terror, a production of Galactic Netcasts. This is a show. I feel I can't even say like we talk about scary stuff because all we do is talk about horror movies up to this point.
We'll get there. It gives us the option for more things. Like I sent a story to you and tagged Amy Frost in it earlier about something that I'd like to get into at some point, which was scary cosplay, which harkens back to that story we told about the two dolls walking around in London.
Yeah, and oddly enough, Amy Frost didn't tell us to eat shit.
That's true.
She's apparently on board with that.
Yeah. I was trying to think of a funny way to describe it, but I just can't because I don't want to really turn things around and make her tell us to eat shit. So
I've never met her, so I just assumed that she thought that I was a drunken, belligerent idiot.
yeah, but I think that's type. I think that's
That's her type. Is that what you said?
I don't mean to flirt with. I just mean I think that she's okay with that. I think that that's it's kind of like I I have a feeling that she does the drunken thing enough and maybe hangs around with enough belligerent idiots. By the way, I'm Corey.
I by now people should know who you are. If you're just listening for the first time, that's Corey. He just kind of shows up every time I do one of these, and he just happens to watch the exact same movies that I watch.
Yeah, I'm just a ghost in the machine that has eyes on in Matt's house.
I'm kidding. Corey is he's one hell of a co-host and has a terrific baritone voice.
That is not what I have, but thank you.
What are you, falsetto?
Uh,
Wait, you're more of a bass soprano sax, maybe.
a tenor, no less. Hey, so we are going to get into what is still our December or December to Dismember. Is that what we were calling it?
It is now.
I feel like I had it the other day and then I lost it.
No, we'll
And
go with the December to Dismember. It's I made the executive decision this will be the last one. This will come out right before Christmas. So Merry Christmas or Merry Crimbus, Happy Festivus, whichever you decide to celebrate. Make it a good one. But yeah, this will be the last one. So we're doing Silent Night, Deadly Night. I didn't mean to cut you off and take over there, Corey, but
yeah, next year we'll either do Kill You All Kwanzaa or Hana Can't Stop Stabbing You in the Face.
ooh, we should find as many like Jewish horror movies as possible.
That's true. Not just Jewish horrors, like the bad things that happen to the Jews, but in general, like actual horror movies.
There's a World War II joke in there, but I honestly think I'm still hungover from Friday. So
Yes,
today is Sunday. We were recording an episode. Friday night we recorded one out of line.
way out of line.
I meant like out of sequence. Matt Vincent will be on the first episode of 2016 where we discussed Reanimator, and yeah, I got really drunk.
It's something to look forward to. We're just going to leave it at that. We're going to give you a little tease for the new year with the Podcast of Terror. But one of the grand things that came from that is we have Matt as a sponsor for the show now.
We do.
Which, well, I mean,
do.
He
didn't say no when we asked him.
he didn't, because that's the kind of condition that everybody was in. So you can find some great, very kick-ass shit over at thehate.com, which is THEHVIII.com. And you can buy said kick-ass shit with a 15% off coupon code of KICK15. That is KICK, the number 15. And support Matt, support what he does, because he supports what we do, and we just want to make that round robin.
I want to say if you order, well, this will probably only pertain to the people who are watching the video, so 0. I'm fairly certain that if you order by the 21st, it's guaranteed by Christmas Eve.
Which is tomorrow. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. This comes out Tuesday. We're recording Sunday. If you can travel back in time and order by Monday night, or if you're watching the video,
you can pre-order for next Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah.
Or you can just order on Tuesday and get it after Christmas.
That's true. You're going to drink coffee all year. You need a kick today in the dick mug.
So I woke up once again. He makes a very good analogy to Corey drives the boat and I try and drive it straight to hell. But I woke up Saturday morning to emails of things that I had purchased. Being a kick today in the dick mug, and I told my wife, I'm like, oh yeah, bought a coffee mug, just so you know. She goes, oh, make sure it's not one that I put on the Christmas list for your mom to buy us stuff. And I said, I'm pretty sure you didn't put a coffee mug on our Christmas list that says kick today in the dick. And she just stared at me and walked away.
By the way, that has been on my wish list on Amazon, so it is possible that my mom bought that for me, and my mom would, because that's the kind of mom I have.
Oh, see, my mom would just look at me weird. My dad would buy it, but he does not handle the Christmas shopping.
My mom would actually buy it for other members of the family as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like your mom.
I like my mom too.
As mentioned, the podcast of Terror is a production of Galactic Netcasts, and it is one of the many great shows that you can find over at the Galactic Netcasts. That's really hard to say. Others include Weird World Weekly, The Adventure Party, Sci-Fi Geeks Club, The Galactic Gaming News, and some stupid shit about Doctor Who, where a British man rambles on and on and on about tea and crumpets and Doctor Who.
It is the smartest show about the stupid shit that is Doctor Who, I will say.
I really like Daryl a lot, so I have to give him a hard time. But you can find our show and all the others mentioned by going to gncasts.com or searching iTunes and Stitcher. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star review or a thumbs up on Stitcher. Tell us about how much you love and or hate us.
Yeah.
So before we do the movie, we have some news. Like actual news stories. It's not like Corey and I are pregnant or anything weird like that.
Not for lack of trying.
No, I am shooting blanks though, so sorry, buddy.
That's okay. You didn't have to tell me. It's just wishful thinking at this point.
Oh, color my face red. But Jim Clock, who starred in a few episodes of the Fox show Scream Queens, which, side note, we plan on doing a full season review if I ever finish the season. I'm 3 episodes shy. I'm fucking lazy too. But set to direct and star in the horror pick 6:66 p.m., which already annoys me because that's really 7:16 p.m.
That is it's 7:06 p.m.
Oh fuck, you're right.
You can't math.
No, I can't brain a whole lot today.
And military time would make it even worse. It'd be 1806. No, sorry, 1906. I can't math either. Hey, but shitty titles aside, 6:66 p.m. is coming from Deadline, and it is about a reality TV crew's staged investigation into the paranormal that becomes terrifyingly real when the house they're exploring turns out to be haunted by the ghost of a serial killer. Each crew member fights to stay alive and, more important, make their reality show a hit at any cost. That actually sounds somewhat interesting, yet also kind of familiar.
It sounds a lot like, what is it, Halloween Resurrection?
A little bit, yeah.
Where they do the reality show.
Also, the remake of 13 Ghosts is what I'm kind of imagining in my head. And I'm not saying that it's too similar in plot, but I'd like to... What's that?
They remade 13 Ghosts.
Yeah.
When?
Well, I don't know if you're thinking of the original 13 Ghosts versus the remake that came out in the 90s, or if you're thinking of the 90s one as the original.
I was thinking of the 90s as the original, which I knew better than that. It was actually 2001 that it came out.
Wow.
I knew better.
Very 90s.
But I didn't really. Shut up. I really liked the movie, all right?
I enjoyed the movie too. I did just... I know that it wasn't a huge hit.
No, not at all. It had a good amount of people in it, though. It had Tony Shalhoub.
Shannon Elizabeth, who I just found out was in the movie that we were going to do next week to finish off December, and now we're not, and I'm kind of grateful for it.
Oh, okay. Don't tell me you're sad, because I need a week off.
That's fine. Yeah. You have your week of recovery, and I'm just going to sit in here and talk to a blank microphone for no reason.
Hey, if you want, you could do a news update next week, and I'll put it out for you.
Oh, okay. Anyway, so we don't have a lot of information of it besides the initial bounce, and it's only tertiary related to Scream Queens because Jim Clock is in a few episodes, but he's not a major character in it.
No, not at all, but I feel like that's probably the biggest thing he has to his name, so that's why they tied it.
Yeah, and it's a guy who was just in a show about well, it's sort of a horror themed show and going on doing horror themed stuff, and that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, yeah,
Get that first break. But hey, good for them.
yeah, absolutely. Next up, we have apparently the real life Amityville horror is set to appear in Conjuring 2. Uh, so Conjuring 2 is based on a freaky real life story about the Einfield poltergeist, which I know nothing about, so don't ask. But there's more real life horror involved. Bloody Disgusting Reader tweeted that star Alexa Najera, who dropped a tantalizing hint that there's more to The Conjuring 2 than just the Einfield poltergeist. There's a bunch of Twitters, some Twitters in here.
Yeah, I haven't seen the first Conjuring yet, and I'm kind of bummed out because it looks pretty good.
It's decent.
Yeah, but as I understand it, it's also based off of a true story.
Yeah, it is. I guess the tweets were that there's speculation that the DeFeo family will be in the opening scene for The Conjuring 2. So that I guess could be kind of cool.
Yeah, it should be.
I don't know. I've always really liked the Amityville horror, both the original and the remake for different reasons.
I like Amityville 4. It's about time.
Wait, is that real?
Yeah,
No.
I think it was number 4. I don't know. It's one of those things that I remember watching on cable late at night. It was not like it was a great movie. It was just one of those things that I kind of, at that point in time, it's what I remember the most. I don't think I ever saw the remake. I have seen the original before, but it's been a long time.
Evil Escapes.
Then it must have been 3.
So, man, I'm looking. Oh, Amityville 3D? What the hell? They remade the 1983 Amityville Horror 3 to be in 3D with Meg Ryan.
Amityville, It's About Time was direct-to-video in 1992. Was that number 4?
I think it's 5.
Oh, wow. Okay. I just went in the wrong direction.
Oh, the Amityville Curse is number 5, and that came out in 90.
Holy crap. There's a lot more of these films than I would have ever expected there to be.
Amityville 6.
Wow.
It's About Time.
Okay. So as we established earlier, neither Matt nor I can count. And he can't even count on me on relevant information about films.
Dude, get this. Amityville, It's About Time.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 8 after that one.
Oh, wow.
There's Amityville 7, A New Generation, Amityville Dollhouse, Evil Never Dies, Amityville Horror, the remake, Amityville Haunting in 2011, Amityville Asylum 2013, Amityville Death House 2015, Amityville Playhouse in 2015, and Amityville The Awakening coming out in 2016.
Ah, Jesus. We could probably spend all of 2016 just doing Amityville movies.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah, how about not?
Completely ignore everything other than the original and the remake of the original.
Well, I'm, like I said, soft spot for It's About Time.
I'm going to have to watch it now. So, yeah, that should be cool. I like the Conjuring 2, or excuse me, the first Conjuring, because it was kind of different with the clapping and all that shit. And yeah.
Yeah.
All I got to say.
Speaking of the clap, you can catch us and more stuff from us, like the clap, at gncast.com. You can also leave us feedback by emailing us, pot@gncast.com. That's pot@gncast.com. Or leaving us a voice message by calling 805-328-3966. That was the most tenuous connection I could make to getting to the middle section as possible.
I know, I was trying to figure a way for you to just be like, fucking do it already.
Well, speaking of fucking doing it, why don't you stop over at the same time by looking at statuspheremerch.com and enjoy some of the great t-shirts and stuff that you can get there. Also with a 15% off code for your order if you use the code TERROR, TERROR, just in case you couldn't spell it. It's tricky.
All we need is a coffee sponsor, and I'll be set, because all I ever really buy are t-shirts and coffee.
I have nothing to add to that because that sounds wonderful.
Yeah, right. So if you are a coffee place and want to give us coffee, email us at pot@gncast.com.
Yeah.
Easy. Easy peasy, lemon bucket and squeezy. The turd we watched this week was Silent Night, Deadly Night. Best part of the movie is at the end when the kid is killing everybody and just screams punish while he murders them.
Yeah, this came out in 1984. It was pretty much banned after about 2 weeks of being in theaters, right about the time it was getting wide release. But even so, it came out the same weekend as A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original did, and made more money than A Nightmare on Elm Street did in that weekend, and was still a success considering what the budget was compared to what it made. But it was slammed hard by critics, by protesters. I sent you a link to this, and I don't know if you saw it. Siskel and Ebert reviewed it and read the names of the production people on the air and shamed them publicly because of how much they despise this movie. But I think that's kind of a gentle reminder of where the world was in 84 compared to now when these movies comes out and it's just like, okay, it's shitty. It's okay to have a shitty movie happen, but at that point in time, I guess the point is you don't fuck with Santa Claus.
Well, it was weird. Like, I didn't know what to expect going into it. So during the opening scenes where the crazy grandpa is like, "Oh, if you're bad, Santa just comes and kills you," and then it just so happens that Santa Claus is in the middle of the street and murders his whole family. And what made less sense to me is like, he's fine all year until Christmas. Then little Billy wants to fucking murder everybody.
Well, he's fine until Christmas, and what they do is they put layer upon layer of Billy as to why he's so fucked up and goes on a killing spree when he's 18. Because as a 5-year-old, he sees his family get killed. Santa shoots his dad, then almost goes to rape his mom, and instead just winds up slicing her throat. And
that was a cool scene.
Yeah, that was awful. And then after that, he winds up in an orphanage, in a heavily strict Christian Catholic orphanage, where the Mother Superior is determined that Billy has to love Santa and doesn't have any kind of care about like how tortured this kid is already by seeing his parents killed. Insists on putting him on Santa's lap, beats the shit out of him, beats the shit out of other kids in the orphanage. Just is an awful, awful thing for him anyways. And so, like, yeah, it's just piled on to this kid, like everything. Okay, you know what? Santa not only will come after you because you were naughty, but also punishment is good. That's the lessons he learns.
Yeah, I didn't really put the dots together, but then again, I had a real hard time staying focused on this movie because it was such shit.
Yeah, usually I would give you a lot of information about some of the people that were in the movie. The only people that were worth mentioning are Lillian Chauvin as Mother Superior, because she's just done a lot of work. She's been in many things. The only thing that I could really recall, though, that she was Joey Tribbiani's grandmother on an episode of Friends. Oh, wow. And the bigger deal, and the only thing really that is a big deal, is Linnea Quigley as Denise, who is one of the teenagers having sex that Santa shows up randomly at their house and kills them by impaling her on deer antlers.
During that scene, I was watching it on my computer because my wife wanted to watch football, and she walked in, and it was during that scene, and she was topless, and she just looks at her and she goes, "Why are her nipples so big?" Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And she goes, "She must have had a kid and breastfed," and then just walked away.
I don't know. Now I have to. I've never thought of doing this before. I have to go and do a comparison of all the times Linnea Quigley's nipples have been out and see how they compare, because she was, of course, in Return of the Living Dead, she was pretty much naked the entire time in that. Yeah. She was the woman who put the lipstick into her nipple in Night of the Demons, the original. And just in general, Linnea Quigley is a big deal in the horror community. Linnea Quigley is a badass in the horror community, and I would consider her one of the major scream queens in general. So I was excited to see her in this, but that was about the That was the crux of it. It was just, oh yay, Linnea Quigley. Well, that was done, and now the rest of the movie has to be a pile of shit.
Oh, you weren't pumped about seeing nipples?
It it's like an old friend with her. It's always nice to see them.
Touche.
There were 4
There was a lot of
topless scenes. Yeah, there was, but they were all just like bad times. There was no good moment of it. Like it's like here's the mom's shirt ripped open and then her throat's cut, and then here's Linnea Quigley and the girl that Billy crushed on, that he worked with at the toy store.
There was a lot of attempted rape scenes in this movie.
Yeah, again, another thing. I don't know if that's just an '80s thing or it just the fact that he had this love interest sort of for this woman Pamela that he worked with, and he had a shit relationship with this guy that he worked with, and the guy, of course, takes Pamela to the back during the Christmas party and starts trying to get her to grab his dick. And she's like, no. So he slaps her around and he's like, you fucking tease, and jumps on top of her and is basically trying to rape her. Billy comes in and kills the guy. And then she freaks out like, you're crazy. You did something wrong. And he's like, yeah, you know what? Punishment is good. Here you go, stab.
Yeah. I thought it was funny that Billy had like superhuman strength and the ability to strangle someone using like shitty old school bulb lights, just like the guy up. Like, I get it, Billy is muscly. Like, they made that very apparent when he gets the job at the hardware store, and they're like, let me introduce you to the little boy who can't lift anything, and he's like wearing acid wash jeans. He's got rolled
he had
up
crazy strength even before that. When he was an 8-year-old kid in the orphanage, they try to set him on Santa's lap, and he jumps up, punches Santa the fuck out, and like bloodies his nose, so it's bleeding down to his fake beard and stuff. That was actually a good moment.
I actually think Billy should be drug tested. He's probably doing cocaine.
He's probably not now. Little hint: Billy dies. Billy does not make it through the end of this movie. He does make it back to the orphanage where he goes after the Mother Superior, and then
that's when I turned it. So when Corey and I were talking before we started recording, I admitted I did not finish this movie. I turned it off right after Billy got shot. I said, fuck this movie. I turned it off. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. So the only thing that you missed is Billy shows up as Santa Claus. This is after the cop went to save the orphanage, shows up, shoots Santa Claus in the back, and it turns out to be a deaf priest who was dressed up as Santa Claus for the orphanage. So, and this is after they almost shot another guy dressed up as Santa Claus in his own house because he was the dad trying to surprise his daughter.
Yep.
Great cops in this. So Billy shows up, gets in the orphanage because he's dressed as Santa Claus. And the kids are like, oh, Santa's here. Got to open the door for him. Because, again, the Mother Superior didn't do anything to prepare these kids for the fact that Santa Claus is actually evil in this. And it's like, no, we all got to get together and sing Christmas carols, even though someone's coming to kill us. So he goes walking up to her to kill her, calls her naughty. Right as he's about to take her head off, he gets shot and killed. But his kid brother, who was also in the car when the parents were murdered, but was an infant and has been at the orphanage the whole time, the last thing you see is the scene of him looking at the Mother Superior and calling her naughty. And what that is the door opening for a sequel, which actually happened. That was it. This lit into another Silent Night, Deadly Night. I think when you buy the DVDs, they wind up being a 2-pack.
Because they can't sell the second one otherwise?
Yes, probably.
It should be Silent Night, Deadlier Night.
Well, this wasn't even called Silent Night, Deadly Night at first. It was something like Sleigh Ride.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they changed the title later on. This is a tough film. It feels like it took so much shit just from existing, just from coming out, even though there was a movie where Santa killed people in 1980, and even though there was a Tales from the Crypt episode or story that happened in 72, I think. It's just anytime. And I think Santa's Sleigh had the same issue. So when it came out, a lot of people picketed it. Seems like the original incarnation of A Million Moms probably does this. Every time I guess that we've heard about a war on Christmas, maybe this is who they think is perpetrating that war. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, you gotta consider the fact that Christmas is, to the majority of the populace, a Christian holiday. So so people probably get really easily bent out of shape when you take that and turn it into a killing spree.
Yeah, but I have a problem with the fact that the movie shows a Catholic nun being so upset that the kid doesn't believe in Santa Claus, when Santa Claus to me seems to usurp what Christmas is about to Catholics.
Absolutely.
So I was like, well, why should she give a shit? Why does it matter that this kid doesn't like Santa? And why is she so relentless on bidding it into him that you're going to be around Santa Claus whether you like it or not, you schmuck?
Because Mother Superior is fucking crazy.
She was fucking crazy in this.
So is it Mother Superior her title, or was her last name Superior? Because
no, that is her title. She is the Mother Superior of the orphanage. She is the head nun. There is a nicer nun in this, Sister Margaret, who tries to take care of Billy and tries to keep the influence of Mother Superior from being so harsh on him, and that apparently doesn't work out at all. But in the end, I feel kind of cheated that Sister Margaret, but Mother Superior, doesn't get hacked to bits or doesn't get finalized or anything. I felt that was like, at the very least, you owed us that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Because she learns nothing. But overall, I feel bad for the movie because it really was sort of we've got to lock this away. We feel like this was a mistake to make, or it just got banished, out of the theaters, hidden away, didn't wind up on TV for a long time. It was just, and I'm not a big proponent of censorship. I think that some things are disgusting to the point where I don't want to see them, but that doesn't mean that I think that they shouldn't exist or shouldn't be allowed to exist. I do think that it's up to a station whether or not they decide to play it.
Yes.
But this thing got pretty fucked up. It was kind of mean. Not mean like I care, but I sort of care.
I'm trying to think of what you're saying. Like, I agree. There were points where I kind of was like, man, in '84, like, even this is weird now. Like, this is a little uncomfortable now. So in '84, that would have been even worse.
Well, also watching this movie, knowing that it was the same year that A Nightmare on Elm Street came out, didn't it seem really dated comparatively?
Yeah. Well, this one had $1 million for a budget, which seems to be a lot, given the fact that even during the murder scenes and stuff, like, it just looked really shitty.
It looked like it was made at the same time of Halloween, not Nightmare.
No. Well, the original Nightmare on Elm Street had a $1.8 million budget, but I don't feel like there's only like one scene where you really see like someone gets stabbed and it looks kind of fake.
Yeah, I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street, the budget, it's obvious where it went to. There was the whole pouring out of the blood. Yeah. There was a lot of different, specialized kind of locations as to what they were using to put it together. I think that it utilized the effects much more. This was a guy walking around in a cheapo Santa suit with an axe most of the time and using a lot of kill tactics that were similar to Halloween or Friday the 13th before it. The super strength lifting and impaling people onto walls so they just kind of hang there, that was straight out of Halloween. That felt a little cheap.
Yeah, so I feel like the platform of using Christmas to just create another slasher movie with this kid who's crazy about Santa was the end game, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It blew up in their face, and they still made 2 shitty sequels to a shitty movie.
It really was pretty shitty.
It was horrendous. I'm gonna give it 0 dead hookers.
I'll give it a 1. That it qualifies as being, I don't know, what is, to some people I think it's the essential Santa Claus is a killer kind of movie, um, but it's not good. It's not something I'm ever going to be anxious to see again.
Yeah, I will never ever watch this movie again. So I should I blame you for that?
No, you know what? Because I think we had Silent Night was supposed to be the movie that we were going to watch, which is I think a more recent remake of it, or at least so similar that it might as well be a remake of it from 2013, and we just couldn't find it.
Yeah, yeah, I still blame you.
Well, yeah, all right, fine.
Yeah. What I mean, what other?
The movie I wanted to see also was not available, and that was To All a Good Night.
Well, that's what happens when we try and watch these obscure, shitty Christmas movies.
Yeah, I liked that we made it through. Other than you whipping out for the next week, the month of watching all Christmas related horror movies. The fact that there are so many, I think, really shows the kind of stress level that the holidays puts on people. It's like we just want to see people get killed at this point.
There's an uncomfortable amount of Christmas horror movies, but then again, there's probably even more Halloween ones.
You know, we don't see a lot of killer St. Patrick's Day movies.
There, I mean, there's a Leprechaun series.
God damn it, that's right. But
Yeah,
is that really St. Patrick's Day or is it just leprechauns who exist all the time?
that's a good question. I've only seen two or three of them.
I don't remember any green beer in any of them.
I watched Leprechaun Back to the Hood,
Of course you did.
and then I saw the remake, which was not very good. But that one was like in a cabin or something, so it wasn't. I don't think it was around St. Patty's Day.
All right. So do you think we can try to do, if not a whole month next year, but maybe if we can try to do the holiday horror movies to go along with them? Like obviously we would have to watch Valentine's Day or My Bloody Valentine. If we get to St. Patrick's, then maybe we'll watch a Leprechaun and unless we can find something better.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Then I don't know about there being a Memorial Day horror movie, but I'm sure there's Independence Day could probably be classified as a horror movie. Everyone fucking dies.
And then why do they have a sequel?
I don't know. Not everyone. Fuck you, Corey.
I would rather watch Born on the 4th of July. That's a horror movie because Tom Cruise.
Never. Oh, it's like I've never even heard of it, and then I realized that you're playing a prank on me. I think that's gonna do it. Where can the nice people find you on the internet, Corey?
I really actually did go back and check out my about.me page, and it just points at the same places that I usually go to, and points at places that I don't go to at all, like Twitter. So about.me/Captain Temerity. I also occasionally show up on other shows here on the GNcast network, mostly Sci-Fi Geeks Club, and I do some stuff with the Else Nerds called What Else Is On, which may be making itself over to GNcast at some point.
I've heard some talkings.
I hear a lot of talk until there's action that doesn't really make sense. It's like your prom date. I've got a lot of big plans, but until we get to that hotel, there ain't nothing really happening.
Make sure you bring a little bottle of spermicidal lubricant.
That to drink.
I just watched Superbad. Sorry. You can find me on Instagram, Matt the Lifeguard, and Twitter, the same thing. That's really about it. I don't do a whole lot. I'm pretty fucking boring. But that'll do it. So we'll catch you in 2 weeks.
You can probably find Matt in recovery at this point after you'll hear the wonderful dulcet tones of Matt almost retching on the January episodes.
Yeah, what was it going to be? January 5th shit show, the 3-hour long shit show.
We apologize now.
Not at all. I don't apologize one single bit. That was a lot of fun. So I hope
a great fucking time.
I hope everyone enjoys it, and we'll be back in the new year with new episodes of the Podcast of Terror. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and all of that shit.
And stay scary, everybody.
All right, bananas.